And we are now recording. So welcome to this webinar about how to manage your side hustle and growing your business while you're working full-time or part-time. I am excited to be presenting this today to you. And if you've never done a webinar with me, we are super casual. So if you if you have your camera on, you're welcome to eat. Kids can visit, pets can visit. We are very casual because, quite frankly, that's probably what's going to happen on my end. Something will make a noise or the dog will bark. So that's just how we are here. When we run things from Joe Celeste world, I hope it's nice and casual for you. I am recording this webinar, so you will get a replay link of it after it does all its Zoom magic. And actually today I have just a couple slides, but it's mostly going to be me talking, and I hope that's okay because I like just to have conversations. I like to teach. I think sometimes PowerPoint's great, and I use it all the time, but sometimes I think we get so focused on the words on the screen that we're not comprehending. So you're welcome to take notes, and of course you'll get the replay link if you missed anything, right? So I want you to know that. We're going to go over just a few things today during our little over an hour. I'm going to try to keep it to an hour. We're going to talk about my story of how I went from corporate to full-time entrepreneur in 4 months. And then I'm going to teach you the process that I did in order to accomplish that goal, plus some things I've learned along the way as a marketing coach for many, many years. And so I'll teach you the processes that I've helped other entrepreneurs follow to get to the goal. So let's go ahead and get started, and we will feel free if you have questions, open the chat box. I ask you stay muted during the presentation just because it's easier for everyone else to stay focused, but feel free to use the chat box for any questions, and I will answer questions at the end of the presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. And people who are coming in, hi, welcome, good to see you. So let me first share with you my story. So back in many years ago, I worked full-time in corporate. I worked for a large healthcare organization. In fact, one of my former colleagues is on this call with me right now. And I was there for 8 years, and it was a great job. I had learned so much. But as I entered my 8th year, some things were happening in my personal life as well as with my mindset, which was really affecting me. So very briefly, my parents, I'm meeting people. My parents had gotten some diagnoses of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, so I had that going on. My son, my oldest son, had ADHD, so there were some academic challenges going on, a lot of meetings and appointments going on there. And then my mindset really started to shift. I liked working at this job. It was very enriching, but there was, a shift, a reorganization, and things were starting to get very political and very bureaucratic and just didn't feel good anymore. And I started to think, well, I'm going to have to get another job. I can't live like this, right? But then I started to think, well, what if I started my own business? And I'll never forget the day I was sitting at my desk at the Cube, and I was paying an invoice. At the time, I was a social media manager for this health organization, and I was paying an invoice to an agency, and I saw how much I was paying them, which was 4 figures. And I thought, I could do this. I could easily do this. So that planted the seed. And in November of 2010, I opened the doors to Hound Dog Social Media. And those of you who know me know I own a Basset Hound, and that's who the agency was named after. And by December, I had gotten my first client. In January, I got 2 more. And then by February, I had someone sign on the big package, and I was able to resign from my job. And I have not looked back at all. And I share this story with you to let you know that this can be done, first and foremost, to inspire you, but also so you know that I've been in your shoes and I get the struggles. And my kids were much younger back then, and I'm married, and I'm aging parents, and all the things that we have going on in our lives. And I still did it, and so can you. So let me share with you sort of a process. I hate to use the word process, but these are the things that I did to leave the corporate job. And before I begin, I want to just preface this. Some of you may not have a desire to leave your job. You may just have a desire to have a lovely revenue stream coming into your house so you can go on vacations or save. That's awesome. I'm going to use the word leave corporate because that tends to be what most people want to do. But if that's not your goal, that's fine. You can still follow this process, these steps that I'll teach you today to help you achieve whatever goal it is. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to say leave corporate, and you can substitute in the right thing for you. So there are going to be 5 sections, if you will, that I'll be talking about today. One is how to set the right revenue goal. The second thing is how to find time to run your business, especially with your limited hours. The third thing is picking effective marketing tactics, especially because you have such limited hours to work on your business. The fourth thing is maintaining a positive mindset, super important. And finally, getting help. So let's go right into this and go into setting the right revenue goal. And so what I mean by that is setting the goal, establishing how much money you want to make from your business to help you achieve whatever it is, whether it's quitting corporate or going on vacation or whatever that case may be. So what I've often found in my coaching of entrepreneurs is that they don't really, some of us are not great at looking at money. we're not uniquely gifted at numbers and expenses. And this is why the truth telling comes. We really need to be truthful in our numbers and in our reporting. So what I did when I was making the plan to leave corporate is I said, well, I really need to get a handle on my expenses. And I'm just being truthful and honest with you. That was probably the first time I ever really studied my pay stub. I pulled the pay stub on the time it was online, and I actually looked at like my hourly rate, even though I was salaried, what expenses were coming out for deductions and all of that. And I took a hard look at it. Because I had that hourly rate listed on my pay stub, that planted a seed of, okay, that's a rate I could think about for my own business because I needed to make at least what I was making in corporate. I knew that was the goal. But then I started thinking about other things. Yes, this is my income from corporate, but I started looking at my household expenses, and that's what I recommend for you to do as well. Because what I discovered was that, first of all, I was going to be saving money once I made the leap out of corporate because I didn't have to spend money on gas, the wear and tear on my car, lunch money. I was always buying lunch, right? That's $6-7 a piece. And childcare, because again, my kids were younger, they were in elementary school. And so there was before and after care costs. So when I added those up, I had that going back into my budget. And then we cut some things too. I took some, something like, wow, I have that deduction and I don't even use that gym, or I don't really watch Netflix, or those types of things. And so we as a family made those decisions to reduce our expenses so that we had more wiggle room when I quit corporate. And I've also coached entrepreneurs who make some major lifestyle choices as they look at their expenses. I've seen people, and again, it depends on where you are in your life. I've seen people sell a bigger home and go into a smaller home so they have that less expense. Trading in maybe a more expensive car to something that's a little less expensive, more affordable. I've seen people sell their timeshares, other properties. It's up to you. But the idea the gist that I'm getting at is that you need to have a firm understanding of your expenses, especially your expenses once you become a full-time entrepreneur, if that is your goal. In addition to your household expenses, you also need to know how much it's going to cost you to run your business. And you'd be surprised at the little business costs that kind of creep up. You've got taxes, you've got not just federal taxes, of course, federal income tax, but you may have a state income tax, you may have county licensing, so you have to investigate all of that. Your cell phone, your internet. If you are a person who has a product, you have to buy materials, there's those expenses. So getting a handle on what those expenses are will help you project what revenue you need to make in your business. So look at what you make now, if that's applicable, and then look at your expenses, take a hard look, make a sacrifice if that is what makes sense for you and your family, or make it a lifestyle change. Again, that's a personal decision. And come up with a number. Like, this is the total expenses for running my house, and this is the total expenses for running my business. And if you add those two together, then you get a sum that at least I got to make this amount. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what number to choose for yourself. But I will say, based on experiences, you don't just want to go off the expenses number because you need wiggle room, right? Because you might lose a client, or you might have an increase in bills or something like that. So don't just use that number, but use it as a basis to help you understand what you need to make in your business. Because you can't just open a business and magically quit your job. There's that research in the middle. So think about what you make now. Think about how much it costs to run your house, and think about how much it will cost to run your business. I do recommend getting a financial advisor or some kind of financial professional to help you with this, but they're still going to ask you to gather all this information. So make sure you do. And if you don't use Quicken or QuickBooks or some kind of program, it may be helpful for you to get that, or at least a spreadsheet going to put that information in there. So you at least will have the data to make a smart decision. And then once you arrive at that revenue goal, how much money each month you need to make from your business, that allows you to reverse engineer your entire business. Because let's just make a number up. Let's say you need to make at least $3,000. Well, then you can go, okay, what is my pricing? How many of these do I need to sell to reach $3,000, right? It allows you to kind of reverse engineer what that looks like for you. So definitely take the time to do the numbers. It may take you several weeks, and that's normal. But don't skip that step, because otherwise everything else is askew and you're not going to know when you've reached your goal, right? So that's the thing I would recommend there for setting your revenue goal, is doing that homework, getting help with a private professional, and then once you have that number, use that to backwards engineer, reverse engineer what you need to sell and how many things you need to sell in order to reach that goal. Okay, so that's the first thing, the revenue goal. The second thing I want to talk to you about is finding time to run your business. This is by far the biggest challenge I believe most entrepreneurs face who are working full-time or part-time somewhere else. I work full-time in my business, so I have 40 plus hours a week to work on my business. You might work 40 hours somewhere else, or 20 hours somewhere else, or most corporate America, it's over 40 hours somewhere else. And then you consider your commute and other things in your personal life. You might be thinking, well, how the heck am I going to do this? My time is already quite stretched. So the key here, and this is super important, if you're writing down a list of things you need to do, then please add this. You need to set up what I call office hours. These are the hours that you will be working on your business throughout the week. So if you work full-time, for example, let's just say you work 8 to 5. Well, obviously that's not when you're going to be working on your business unless you're clever with your boss and hide it, but I don't recommend that either because we don't want you to get fired. But what hours can you work on your business? So take a look at your calendar and determine when you're in the office, your commute, right? Take that out of the equation. Any personal commitments, if you go to church, well, obviously that's not going to be a time you want to be working on your business. If you've got kids' homework, that type of thing. So add in all those things and see what you have left. And then take a hard look at what maybe you could have other people help you with, or maybe changing some structure in your house. So let me give you an example of how I did this. So I left for work at 7 in the morning, and by the time I got home and picked with the kids and everything, it was about 5:30 in the evening. Immediately when I came home in the evening, I started supper, and then after supper, I was with my kids and we did homework. And they were in elementary school, so it wasn't like they had a lot of homework. So what I did was, on some mornings, I woke up an hour early, and I would just go into my little office space and I would work on my business an hour. So I think I would wake up at 5 a.m. and then I would stop at 6. So I had that bucket of time. And then on some evenings, I would work from about 8 to 9 in the evening when the kids had kind of settled down and they were just sort of playing. I could do that. And then I also had some hours, about 4 hours on the weekend that I'd work. I would usually work on a Sunday afternoon. But those were my office hours. And so I actually had those listed. And that's what I recommend. You get it, once you figure out what it is, you type it out and you make a sign. And you put that sign of your office hours above your desk or wherever your workspace is, even if it's in the kitchen, it doesn't matter. Post those office hours. I'd also post it, if you have a door to your office, post it on the door. And if you have a refrigerator or some kind of central messaging center in your house, post it there too. Because unless you live alone, there are other people who you have to consider in this equation. And so when you post the office hours, have a conversation. I'm not sure how many of you have kids, little kids, but letting them know that you're working on your business during this time. This is really important. asking your spouse to help you with the kids during those hours, being really firm that during this hour or these 2 hours, I'm working on my business. And also having the sign in front of you disciplines you to work on your business during those office hours and not blow it off, because that is, and I would actually have like office hours or hours of operation or open, like you see a business sign, like if you went to the florist or something, like have that. That's a real business strategy, and I want you to do that. So make sure you have those office hours, whatever that is. If it's 2 hours a week, 10 hours a week, that's your own calendar. You have to determine that, but find those pockets of time and then commit to working during those hours. The second thing you need to do in order to find time to run your business is to create a barrier in your home. So I was chatting with Lydia before we started today. She was admiring my room divider behind me. And this is really what we need to do as entrepreneurs. So if you are in a position where you have a room in your home where you can make that your office space, a room with a door, go get it, grab it. But here's the thing, because I've worked in offices and with doors in my house before, it's your office. It's not the craft room. It's not the place to store the kids' toys. It's not the place for your husband to park his bike. It's your office, just like you would at work have your office. So make sure that it is your space and nothing else creeps in there. That's super important. If you're like me and work in a common area in my home, I made the choice at the house I live in now, I converted the dining room to my office because it has the best view. And if I'm going to sit at a desk all day, I want to look out at my pool and my creek in the backyard. But I don't have a door. So what I do have is a room divider. And if you've watched me for any length of time, this room divider is in all my videos and in my Facebook Lives. What this is it creates a barrier around my desk. And when my family sees this go up, they know I'm working. And I know I'm working. Even the dog knows, oh, mommy's working, I'm just going to go into the bed. But you could post your office hours on the opposite side of this room divider. And it just is something about that from a mindset perspective for you is that I am open for business. Here goes the room divider and off you go. I got this one off Amazon. At the time it was only about $100. I got it a few years ago. But it is super economical. And I have given this advice to many entrepreneurs, and I have seen some gorgeous screens appear and videos based on that advice. And I really recommend it if you're in a common area, even if you're in the kitchen counter or kitchen table, you just put the room divider, because they fold, just put it in the corner. And it might look silly for you to kind of stretch that around your kitchen table, but there's something about it that makes you feel like you're at work, and it reminds the people that you live with that you are there. The whole idea of office hours and the barrier is that when you are working, you're not distracted. And what I used to tell my kids when they were little is, do not interrupt me unless the house is burning down or someone is bleeding profusely, and not even a little bleed, like gush. That's the only way you can interrupt me. Go out, talk to your daddy. And that is all part of this finding time for your business is finding those hours and then creating the space for you to actually work during those hours. So make sure you do that. And another final piece of advice for finding time to work and to stay distraction free. We love our phones, don't we? We love our phones, but we have to not take phone calls during our office hours. I had to have a talk with my mother at the time. Please don't call me. I would give her my office hours. Put it on Do Not Disturb, or even put it across the room. Don't get distracted by Facebook and all those notifications. You're there to work, right? So make sure you go do something with the phone too. So you've established your office hours. You got your physical barrier. You know how much money you need to make. How do you do it? Well, that's all done through marketing, and that's what we're going to talk about next. And just a reminder, if you do have any questions as I'm talking, feel free to drop them into the chat box. I'll be happy to come back around to those at the end of our call today. So let's talk about marketing, which is my favorite topic ever. As a marketing coach, I get geeked out with marketing. So when you're an entrepreneur, no matter if you're working full-time as an entrepreneur or part-time as an entrepreneur, ideally, your day should consist of two things. Client work, if you're a coach, coaching your clients, if you're making a product for a client, you creating that product, that's all client work, and marketing. That is really what you should be working on, especially as you bring your business up. One of the things I always say, and if you watch my videos, you hear me say this all the time, you are the director of marketing for your business. There's no one else who's going to do it for you. It is up to you. And so when you really embrace your role as director of marketing for your business, it's a mindset shift, because what it becomes is a reminder to do marketing tasks. Because if you think about a director of marketing always puts marketing tasks first, right? They prioritize their marketing tasks. They understand the importance of marketing, that without marketing, you don't get clients. So you have to market, right? So they understand that as well. And they have a marketing plan to help them that guides their daily activity. I can't teach you a marketing plan on this call because that's another hour all by itself, but I am going to throw a resource in the chat box. If you need help writing a market plan, this is a free thing, no cost here. But just go to that link and you download the printable that's there, and it's a blog post called How to Write a Marketing Plan. So you can use that if you're not sure how to write a marketing plan. What I want to focus on is what tactics you should implement as part of your marketing plan. Tactics mean those marketing activities that you're going to implement to attract clients. That's what the word tactics means in this example. Your job is to do two things as you market your business. Increase your visibility and remind people that you've met, that you're here to serve them. So I call it visibility and reminder. So how can you increase your visibility in front of your ideal client? Typically for an entrepreneur, visibility marketing usually consists of networking and doing some kind of speaking. That's usually the biggest bang for the buck. Any new entrepreneur, anyone who's a new business owner, I always coach that. A lot of mentors coach it because it works. Go out and network, go out and do speaking gigs. Now, you work full-time or part-time, and you may work during the day. Most of us probably do work during the day. And so it's difficult to get to a networking meeting, and it could be difficult to do a speaking gig because you're at work. So I want to teach you some workarounds that I did when I was bringing my business up. So for the networking piece, I found an evening networking group. They met at 7 o'clock in the evening, and it was right there in my community. And so what I did was I Googled networking groups in the name of my town, and then I found it and I went. And so that was perfect. And what that became was it became part of my office hours, but instead of working at my desk, I was using office hours at the networking meeting, right? Does that make sense? That's part of your marketing time. So be creative and be open. There may be a networking meeting that you can attend in the evening, and or maybe an early morning meeting that you can hit before you go to work. I have a client who does a BNI, which is a large networking group. They meet from 7 to 8. It's like 2 minutes from her office. So as soon as 8 o'clock's done, she gets in the car and goes to work. That is another option for you. So don't immediately shut down networking or marketing. Shut down networking because of your work schedule. Look and see if there's something out there in the morning or in the evening that you can attend. If you can, then go, because that's a great way to increase your visibility and get referral sources. Speaking is another thing you can do. Now, depending on your job, because most speaking gigs, I'm gonna generalize here, but most speaking gigs are at lunch. You know, the networking meeting is a lunchtime meeting. So it depends on your job. You may be able to get over there and do the speaking and come back to work. So if that's something you can do, that's wonderful. If that's not an option, that was not an option for me, because as much as I hate to say it, we worked through lunch because that was the corporate culture. So I didn't do that. But what you could do instead is take advantage of virtual speaking. We are so blessed to have the internet and Zoom and Facebook Live and YouTube and all these ways that we can communicate virtually with people. So take advantage of that. Host a webinar. I'm doing a webinar in the evening. People are here. People will attend. I do Facebook Lives. You can do things on Instagram now. You can even stream right through YouTube. There are so many virtual options for speaking. So take advantage of that. So that's the networking and speaking piece. And then in addition to that, your job is to remind people that you're here, because you might meet them through speaking, you might meet them through networking, and you make that initial contact and then they kind of go into the ether. It's our job as entrepreneurs to constantly wave our hands around and say, I'm here. This is who I help. So make sure you create a system to keep in touch with people, whether that's through the phone, email, snail mail, Facebook message, text message, a gift, whatever that looks like, depending on the person. But really creating that as part of your marketing, your office hours, is that staying in touch, keeping in touch piece is essential, because otherwise they will forget you. Not because you're not memorable, but it's because they're out there meeting people. We're human. We got a lot going on. But if you're constantly out there saying, hey, how are you? How are you? Oh, I'm doing great. I'm still looking for these awesome clients. Like those conversations are what will help you get more clients. So to kind of summarize a long-winded exercise here, what you want to focus on is increasing your visibility, ideally through networking and speaking, and then keeping in touch with people. So I have a few more resources I'm going to stick in the chat box, because again, I could talk about marketing all day, but I don't have the luxury of time. But in the chat box, I threw 3 resources in there to help you dig deeper into marketing. Now that you know kind of the marching orders, I need to be visible and I need to keep in touch with people. The first is a copy of my book, which is free. You can grab that from the website. The second thing is a checklist. It really micro targets how to get clients fast. And that's the magnetic marketing checklist. So you can download that. And then the daily marketing action list and planner is actually a planner, something you can print out, and it helps you plan what marketing you need to accomplish during your office hours. So those are all free resources. You're welcome to them. I hope it helps. But again, effective marketing techniques, profitable marketing techniques really rest on visibility and reminding people that you're around. And that's really what it comes down to. So let's move into the next section here. Positive mindset. We might be surprised that I'm talking about mindset, but it's so critical. And, when I started my business in 2010, I don't even think I knew what mindset meant. What is that? But I wish I had known about it back then. And this is a piece that I learned along the way that I want to share with you. Because when you have a positive mindset, you will be a success. And people who have a positive mindset are the people who are always expecting good things to happen, right? They're the people who believe they can do it no matter what. Whatever obstacles, whatever failures, they just do that. They see failures as opportunities to learn. And they love a challenge, and they say nice things about themselves, and they mean it. And they practice self-care. So this is the shift that you have to make if you're not already there. Some of you may already be there, and that's awesome. But what happens is, and I'm going to talk about this a little later, but entrepreneurship is a bit of a lonely gig. And so when you're in corporate, you have people around you, right, who could talk to you and you can bounce ideas off of. That often is what's lacking in our entrepreneurial journey. So then we're just often left with ourselves and our head and our self-talk and our ego. And so the ego is the part of our brain that tries to keep us safe. This is the part of the brain that will say, no, don't go to that networking meeting. You might embarrass yourself. Or, no, don't do that Facebook Live. Your hair looks goofy. Like, that's the ego. But the ego is a horrible marketing coach. It will never, ever coach you in a way that'll help you grow your business. So our job is to pipe down the ego and stay positive and go forward. So how I maintain a positive attitude, and by the way, it's not 100% of the time. Like, it's life, right? But these are the practices so that when I get in the dumps, or I'm feeling blue, or I'm feeling like crap, I have some practices that I fall back on to help me improve my mindset so I can get out of it, right? So the first thing I do is I have goal cards. If you're not familiar with a goal card, it can be done 105 different ways, but typically someone will take an index card and they'll write their goals on it. And by just having that visible and reading it, it reminds you of what you're doing. It just kind of recenters you after you fall off the wagon. So I have goal cards. I do meditation, specifically guided imagery. I just love to do that before I go to bed. It just really centers me. I do deep breathing. So especially when I start to feel overwhelmed, I'll take some deep, deep, deep cleansing breaths. That helps as well. I read a lot about mindset. I watch a lot of mindset videos. And I love to read inspirational quotes. And so if I'm starting to feel like crappy, I might go look up, like one of my favorite people is Brene Brown. So I'll go, what would Brene say? And I'll go look up a quote by Brene. or maybe pull a book off. I have some books I keep on my desk that I can just grab and just to kind of get a jolt of positivity. And that really helps me. Everybody's different, of course, so you need to find out what will help you to improve your mindset. But the negative self-talk that we do to ourselves is what often will kill our businesses much faster than a lack of revenue or a lack of clients. What I always say is why the number one reason why people quit their businesses is not because they don't have clients. It's because they lack faith. They lack faith in themselves. They lack faith in their purpose, and they lack faith in what they're doing. And that's all part of the mindset. I say stay in faith all the time. And it's not a religious, it could be for you, a religious faith. But what I really want you to do is believe in yourself and know that you can do this. And I didn't know about mindset, but I certainly knew I was determined back when I sat in those corporate days. And I was determined to make this a success. And so I would just say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I just remember sitting at my cubicle and something irritated me. And I just took deep breaths and I visualized me working from home with the dog by my side and helping clients and being my own boss. And that really helped focus me. And I didn't know that I was actually doing like something mindful that I would learn about later, but that's what it was. So whatever you need to do to improve your mindset is imperative. Get some books. There are a lot of great mindset books out there. If you are curious about mindset, the Bible is called Mindset by Carol Dweck. You can Google mindset books and you'll find something that fits you. But please practice that. Practice your self-care and try to minimize the negative self-talk because that's going to help you be a success. The last thing I want to talk about is getting help. We, especially those of us in the US, there's a sense of pride about being self-sufficient and pulling ourselves up from the bootstraps, that kind of cowboy, cowgirl attitude. And let me tell you, you can certainly do all of this by yourself. Absolutely. But it'll take a lot longer. If you think about someone trying to build a house, if a lone contractor is going to build that house, frame it, lay the foundation, put the roof on it, paint it, it'll get done, but it'll take a very long time, especially if you compare it to a group of construction professionals who go in there and do what they're good at. That house is going to be built in a fraction of the time. So as you can, get help. You can look at this from many different ways. You can get help with your business. So think about what tasks you might be able to outsource to somebody. Bookkeeping, social media management, graphic design. The first person I hired to help me when I first started my business was a graphic designer. He designed my logo, my website homepage, and some social media graphics. And it was, I could have done it, but it would have taken me, weeks. It took him one day. Boom. So get that help because they often get things done faster. And especially while you have some income coming in from your main job, it could become affordable for you. So make sure you do that. So look at what you can possibly outsource if you can. You'd be surprised how affordable it is to get a VA, to get a writer to help edit things, that kind of thing. So definitely check that out. But also think about getting help around the house, especially, and I hope this is okay, but I'm going to pick on the women for a minute because often we are the household managers, we're the domestic engineers. All roads go through us, and it doesn't have to. So think about what you can get help with around the house. Maybe it's divvying up the chores a little differently, or hiring people to come in and clean the house or maintain the lawn, or hiring somebody to go do the grocery shopping for you. We have some services here in Florida that help with that. Whatever, it's up to you. But really, because I don't know about you, but I would rather spend my money or spend my time on working on my business versus cleaning the toilet. I'm not one who enjoys cleaning. So I am happily writing a check to people to come clean my house for me. That may not be you, but that's just me. That gives me time back on my calendar to do something else, like grow my business. So really look at that equation. And then finally, this is the thing I did not know when I first started my business, and what I really want you to walk away with, besides the office hours, is this: you need to find a tribe. You need people who can be part of this journey with you. And what I mean is fellow entrepreneurs, because we love our families. But unless they're entrepreneurs, they're not going to get what's going on in your life. We are a strange, weird, loving breed of people. and running a business is definitely something you have to experience to understand it. So that our spouses and our kids and our parents and all that might be super supportive, but they're not the people we can often run to when we need help. But if you've got a tribe of entrepreneurs who are in the trenches with you, you have a sounding board. You have someone to commiserate with. You have someone to celebrate with, right? Because often you can't go to your neighbor and go, oh my God, I just signed a $10,000 contract. They'll be like, okay, or they'll get jealous. But your entrepreneurial friends will celebrate that with you. So find a tribe. And often there's lots of ways you can find them. I've seen people create wonderful groups from networking, because they meet every week. So maybe that's where you find it. Maybe it's somebody you meet at conferences, whoever you get along with. Sometimes there's those ready-made tribes where a mentor like me have people, and you just kind of slip in. Other mentors have that as well. Whatever, you find it, but I want you to find that. You need to find, it could be a small or large group of people who are fellow entrepreneurs who are on this journey with you, so that you don't feel so alone. Because remember, when back in corporate, when you're working, again, you could poke your head around and get help, or you can talk to somebody. Not always the case when you're an entrepreneur. So get that tribe to help you really feel less alone in your business, because that's really what I want for you. So just a couple parting notes. I hope what you get from this is that you need to be intentional. If I were to summarize everything I said, it was about being intentional. Be intentional with your finances. Be intentional with your time. Be intentional with what marketing methods you choose. Be intentional about what your mindset is, and be intentional about getting the help that you need. If I could summarize it into 2 words, that would be it. Be intentional, because you don't have the same amount of time as the rest of us who work full time. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you have to, there's no lollygagging, right? That delays it. You just have to be intentional. So what I wanted to do now, with your permission, is to share information about the Celestial Circle. I am, what do I say about it? The Celestial Circle is the product that I have been wanting to create for years and never had the courage to do it. And now I have it, and I love it. I love the Celestial Circle. And what I have designed the Celestial Circle to do is to help entrepreneurs in many different phases, including people who work full-time and part-time. This is something I'm very passionate about, because I was there. And I'd like to share that information with you. So let me go ahead and just do a share screen here real quick. Give me just a second. And thank you for hanging out with me during this hour. I appreciate it so much. So give me just another moment here. There we go. So I just have these slides, because I talk about the Celestial Circle all the time, and sometimes it's easier for this piece to be in slide format. So Celestial Circle, what that is my monthly membership program. A monthly membership program gives you the opportunity to be part of something at an affordable rate, and you can cancel anytime. So you're not drawing into a year-long program that maybe 4 months in, you're like, oh, I made a mistake. I don't want that for you. I want you to have some choice. So that's what the Celestial Circle is. What I'm going to talk to you about is what the features of the Celestial Circle are, what the benefits are, so you understand what the program entails, and to see if it's a good fit for you and your purpose and your goals. So let's go over what you get as a Celestial Circle member. So I'm very proud that I just added another Q&A call for every month for the Celestial Circle. So now, starting August 1st, every Celestial Circle member will be able to participate in a monthly Q&A call. And I have 2 Q&A calls. You can come to both. You can come to one. You can come to none. One Q&A call is during the day at lunchtime. So perhaps that's an option for you if you work full time. That's a 90-minute call, starts at 11:30 once a month. And then I have a second call that starts in the evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. So for a lot of you, that's after work. You don't have to miss it, and you can come join us. What happens during the Q&A calls, as you can see here on the slide, is we have gathered together as a tribe. People ask me their questions. I answer their questions from marketing, social media, running their business, operations, mindset, all of that. But also the other tribe members chime in as well because they like to share their experiences, but it becomes a bit of a mastermind. And all these calls are recorded, so if you cannot make it, that's 100% okay. You can email me your question in advance. I always take questions in advance, and I answer those first before I go in through the crowd, and you will always get an answer to your question. So again, there's 2 Q&A calls. One's 90 minutes, that starts at 11:30 a.m., and another is 60 minutes, which starts at 7 p.m. So again, depending on your time zones, that may work nicely because it's lunch and after work. So that's the first feature. The second thing that is part of the Celestial Circle, and this is the big member hit. Like if you asked my members to be like, this is the bomb diggity. You get a monthly 2.5-hour study hall. So remember when we were in school, we had study hall, and it was a time we gathered in a classroom and there was a teacher there and it was quiet and we pull our books out and we'd work, right? And we would do the work because other people were doing it and we were accountable and their teacher was staring at us, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's really what this study hall is. We meet through Zoom at an appointed time, and for 2.5 hours, we turn off our microphones. Some people turn off their cameras, and you see this, and we're just working, or you see this, you see typing. And what I love about it is that you get so much done. And this is just a snapshot. I asked some of my members, to talk about what they worked on, and it's just a plethora of things. I don't assign anything for you to work on. However, I do give you a time blocking worksheet so that you're super intentional during these 2.5 hours, that you're not dawdling. So it gives you it breaks it up into time blocks for you. So during this time block, I'm going to do this. During this time block, I'm going to do this, etc. We check in a couple times during study hall and just make sure everybody's doing okay. We brag about what we just finished, and then we get it done. This is a huge, huge part of the Celestial Circle. It is recorded. So what happens, I have a couple members already in the Celestial Circle who work full-time. They can't come to Study Hall because it interferes with their work schedule, but they listen to the replay over the weekend. And it's just like being there. They've assured me many times. So you will get the recording if it's a bad time for you, but this is your time to get stuff done. And it's a huge hit with the members. Another feature of the Celestial Circle is you get a monthly training module. And really the module becomes a theme for the month. So in July here in the Celestial Circle, we had Instagram. I actually brought in an outside expert to teach us how to use Instagram for marketing, and it's been phenomenal. The month before was video marketing. And so every day I prompted members to make videos. So you get the module, you get the materials, you do that on your own time. It's not a live class, it's a recording. You get it around the first of the month. And then you implement. But what I do is I put prompts in the Facebook group all month long to help you implement tiny little bite-sized pieces of what you're learning from the module. So it becomes very doable, especially when you're working full-time, because it's maybe a 3-minute task, something you can really knock out. Past topics are listed here. These are things we've worked on in the past. I will tell you for the month of August, we're going to be talking about how to unblock your creative brain so that more ideas flow through. The month after that, we're going to be doing Pinterest, and so different marketing topics there along the way to help you get clients. So you get the module, which is each about 30 minutes. You get materials with that, and you get the prompts in the Facebook group to make sure you're implementing what you're learning. Speaking of the Facebook group, this is your sacred community. We have a very, very active Facebook group. Couple things happen in the Facebook group. I mentioned the prompts. I do put prompts in there throughout the week to make sure you're implementing what you get from the modules. But other people come in there and they post a question. So I'm not one of those type of mentors that set up a Facebook group and then never appear. I am in there all the time. And if you have a question and you post in the Facebook group, I'm going to answer it. I'm not going to say, oh, wait for the group coaching call. No. I answer that question. And again, other members may chime in as well. So you get a really cool answer. So they post questions. They'll post their successes. Again, this is the place where you can celebrate what's going on. And then sometimes they vent. They go in there and like, something's going on, and they have a sacred place to do that. The Facebook group is always open. Not that I'm always there, but I do try. I'm in there quite a bit, and I do answer those questions and encourage you. So that's another part of the Celestial Circle. Another feature of the Celestial Circle is you get weekly permission slip emails. These are short but powerful emails that you get every Monday that are just a little dose of mindset love. And there's an example here on the screen that's about as long as it is. It takes you less than a minute to read it. But it's amazing the comments I get. Like, that's exactly what I needed to hear today, Jill. It's just the way it works out. But just a little reminder, just to kind of give us permission to do things, to keep our business moving. So that's another feature. And then I just added this, or I'm about to add this, coming August 3rd. So many of you know I am the founder of the Celestial Marketing Academy, and I've created many, many classes, and all those modules are sitting there. And I thought, you know what? I'm changing everything. I'm going to make all of these modules available to the Celestial Circle members. So beginning August 3rd, everybody who's in the Celestial Circle will get access to all 23 modules of the Celestial Marketing Academy, as well as all 5 modules of the Let's Get Clients Challenge, my popular challenge. These are those modules really micro-focused on how to get clients. Plus there's more in there. It's a long list. There's a lot of stuff going in there, and I'm constantly going to be adding things to there. No chart increase in price. I sell that Celestial Marketing Academy was $2,400. It's just going in there. That is coming August 3rd. Anybody who's in the Celestial Circle August 3rd will get an email with a login and a password, and you just go in there and you just look at modules. Anything that strikes you, you can watch. So that is coming as well. So that is everything in the Celestial Circle, and it's a lot of stuff. It's high quality. I always am very generous, and that's why I included this quotation here from Nicole Barati, who is a member of the Celestial Circle, mentioning that I am a giver, and I am. I don't believe you should go broke getting marketing help, and I don't believe I should be stingy in the marketing help I give. Most people ask, okay, so what results can I expect? Well, results vary, depends on your journey, but what you see here in the bulleted list are what most people experience as a result of working with me. I'm proud of all of my members. Everybody's at a little different stage, but they're still growing. And so some people have different objectives. Some people need more clients. Some people have some clients, but they need better operations. It just depends on the person. But what you see here are the typical results that most people experience from working with me. So let me just give you a summary of what you get with the Celestial Circle. Again, you get 2 monthly group coaching calls, a 60-minute call that starts at 7 o'clock in the Eastern time, 7 p.m. Eastern, and a 90-minute call at 11:30 a.m. Lunchtime. You get the 2.5-hour study hall to get your stuff done. You get 30 minutes of training and materials every month, connecting with the tribe through the Facebook group, those weekly mindset emails, short but powerful, and you get access to 30-plus marketing training modules in the archive that you can have access to as long as you're in the Celestial Circle. So you might be wondering, well, if that's a lot of stuff, Jill, how much does it cost? Again, I pride myself in affordable marketing help. I do not want you to go into debt. I do not want you tapping into your 401k. I do not want you to borrow money from your great Aunt Sylvia. I want you to be able to do this on your own. So as you can see here, the investment is quite little. You can pay as you go. You can pay $59 a month. That gives you 30 days access. You can cancel anytime. Or if you're like, I just want it, give it to me. I'll do it for the whole year. You can invest $590. That gives you 2 months for free. So it does save you a bit of money that way. But you get access to the Celestial Circle for the entire year. It's really up to you. You can do whatever you want. If you're interested, the web address is thecelestialcircle.com. You choose which option you want for you, and we take it from there. Now, because I'm a giver, and I really want you to be in the Celestial Circle with me, I have some fast action bonuses that I want to share with you. I want to sweeten the deal because I really want you to do this, because often what we don't do is we don't invest in ourselves. And remember I said you got to find a tribe. I got a great tribe. Maybe that's the tribe for you. There's only one way to find out, and that's to test it. So let me give you some sweetened deals. I believe in 48-hour action bonuses. You have 48 hours to make a decision. If it feels right, you'll do it. If it doesn't, that's okay. But I got 5 bonuses to help incentivize you to join us. So the first thing I'll be giving you, if you do decide to join the Celestial Circle, is I will mail you a copy of my book. It don't matter where you live. If you live in Canada, India, UK, it does not matter. I will mail it to you. I will sign it. And know that in the book, there's actually a resource page. So anything that's in the book, there's resources like sample emails, sample scripts, all of that is available through the resource page. And I also include a PDF that's a task list. It's because the book is a workbook. It's an actionable workbook. And sometimes we get in there and we're like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? The task list is like your to-do list of how to implement. Everything in this book will help you get clients. So that is the first bonus that I'm happy to offer to you. The second thing, because I mentioned that marketing plan, remember, and I couldn't take time to teach it today, but I'm going to give you a resource so you can write it. I'm going to give you a PDF on how to write your marketing plan. It's like a 7-page PDF. It breaks down every section you need, what to put in it, etc. And hand in hand with that, I'm going to give you a Microsoft Word template so that you don't have to guess what goes at the top, what goes next. It's a Word template. You can edit, you can delete, but it gives you that starting point. That's often what I need. Like, just give me something to start with and I'll take it from there. That's what's going to be with the second bonus. So you get a PDF ebook. I hate to use that word, but it's, like a 7-page document with that Word template so that you can get your marketing plan written, because it's critical. So that's the second bonus. My third bonus is about pricing. So remember when I said once you have your revenue goal, you can establish pricing and packaging so you know exactly, like, I need to sell this many, I need to sell this many. But what I get is sometimes we don't know how to determine our prices and how to package them. So a couple months ago, I did this course with the Celestial Circle. It was well received. And so I'm just going to give you access to it. You're going to get access to that course. It's a 41-minute course. It has materials with it as well, and it'll help you determine your prices and help you create packages. So that'll be included as a bonus as well. My fourth bonus is a transcript of today's webinar. So I didn't do slides, right? But what I do when I create a webinar, I actually write a script, and it looks like this. I'm going to send this to you. So if you took notes, you like, what does she say? And actually the transcript has stuff in there that I didn't talk about because of time. You will get that as well. It's just a little PDF so that it supplements what you learned today. So you can implement everything that you learned today easily because it's all typed out for you. And that'll be my fourth bonus. And then number 5 is a training roadmap. And I'm super excited about this. So remember when I said that beginning August 3rd, you're going to have access to all 23 modules of the Celestial Marketing Academy, plus 5 modules from the Let's Get Clients Challenge. Now, if you're anything like me, you're going to open up, you're going to join, you're going to go to that portal, you're going to see all those classes, and your eyes are going to roll back in the back of your head, and you'll be like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. I don't want to overwhelm you. I do not want to fire hose you. So if you join the Celestial Circle between now and Saturday, in the confirmation bonus email, there's going to be a link to a survey. You fill out that survey and you submit it by August 7th. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a personalized roadmap on which modules you should be focusing on. So it'll put the blinders on and you'll be like, oh, okay, I don't need to worry about module 14 right now. And again, as long as you're in the Celestial Circle, you'll have access to all those modules. It's not a lifetime access, but as long as you're in the program, you have it. But this will be your roadmap. It may be 3 modules, it may be 10. It depends on where you are in your business, but at least you'll know where to start. So that is I wouldn't say it's a quick survey, but it's not going to take you terribly long. You just fill out the survey, you submit it to me, all through JotForm. I get it, and then I email you back within just a couple business days, and I'll give you that roadmap. Do module this, and do module that. And we'll take it from there. So that's the 5th bonus. So if you're interested in all of this, you want to join by Saturday night, because that's when the bonuses expire on the Saturday night. So you want to definitely take advantage of, if you were to join the Celestial Circle, please do it now because you'll get all those awesome bonuses. And just to recap, if I were to sell everything in the Celestial Circle, it'd be well over almost $3,500 a month. I would never do that. But you get all of that plus over $400 in fast action bonuses, which I can't wait to share with you. So that is what you'll get if you decide to join the Celestial Circle between now and Saturday. So again, the investment, only $59 a month. Cancel anytime. So how the cancellation works is I won't bill you on the next cycle. So if you are 10 days into the new cycle and you cancel, you'll finish out that remaining 20 days and then your credit card won't be dinged again. There's no refunds or prorated refunds or anything like that. That's usually how memberships work. And then with the annual membership, you're just paying for the whole year, but I'm gifting you 2 months as an incentive. So that feels right. Pick whichever way makes sense for you. But the way to do it is to go to thecelestialcircle.com. And just remember, because I want to give you those 5 bonuses, you got to do it by Saturday, July 28th. Can you believe it's the end of July? 11:59, whatever time that is for you. Basically Sunday morning, I'm taking it down. That's how I roll. So that's that. I'm going to just end this show because I want to see if there's any questions. Hold on, let me stop my share in here. Okay, so that's the end of my spiel. 7:30, look at me go. I'm so proud of myself. So who has questions? You're welcome to unmute yourself if you like, or if you have anything you want to pop in the chat box, you're welcome to do so. If not, just know that I will be emailing the replay link. I'll be summarizing all the bonuses for you, and giving you all the links, all the resources I've listed throughout this call today. All that will come in an email to you. If you missed anything, it's coming. But I hope this helped. I hope this was some direction that you needed, a good start on your new voyage or revisited voyage as an entrepreneur. And I hope that we can work together in the Celestial Circle if it feels right to you. And if it doesn't, that's perfectly fine. I'm here whenever you need me. And thank you, Bonnie. Oh, good, chat soon. I can't wait. Thank you, Leah, for being here. I really appreciate that so much. So it doesn't look like anybody has any questions. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and wrap this up and just say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for spending this hour with me. I truly appreciate it. If you need anything, come just let me know. And otherwise, just watch for that replay email. I'll be sending that out to you soon. So I'm sending you lots of love. Mwah. Talk to you soon.